All right, let's talk about Mac Jones, the guy who seems unlikely that he will even be the starter for the Patriots coming up next week, potentially. I mean, who knows? With Belichick, no one can get inside that guy's head, for better or for worse. But, a lot of people are calling for Zappe. Granted, Zappe came in and didn't look a lot better for New England, but this was an absolute disaster by Mac Jones. I thought that, he was a disaster last week, and I think he was worse this week, as crazy as that sounds. Some of it is Saints can frustrate you. Saints can put you in positions to fail, which they did in this game for sure, so we're going to give them credit throughout this video as well. But yeah, we'll start off with this play. So, to me, these are almost even worse than some of the turnovers where it's man coverage. You have a receiver who's just running over the middle of the field. Watch as this play begins. Jones is going to take the snap. And this is a little bit unrelated. I just had this really strange case of deja vu, but I don't think it's really deja vu. I think it's just I've made this video like 10 times already of the, wow, this was a disaster for Mac Jones. What went wrong? I think that that's something. But anyways, putting a pin in that, you see Jones makes the throw. There's not really a window. It's not a great opportunity, and that's definitely something we saw throughout this game. Is like, listen, I mean, there's just no getting around it. This is a disastrous situation for Mac Jones to play in. It is. I mean, Belichick has consistently neglected the wide receiver position, trying to kind of mix and match and get receivers to, who can just be good at specific things. It worked a couple years ago in Mac Jones' rookie season. It did work that year. They were able to get into the playoffs. The receiving corps did a solid job. But as a whole, in 2023, it's a passing league. The teams that are making deep playoff runs are teams with really good receivers. If you don't have really good receivers, you are in trouble. Guys aren't getting open consistently. That's a huge issue for Jones. It is. But this also isn't a catchable football. He never gave his receiver a chance there. And that's something that we saw as well, was throws were just getting away from him. So, situation is a situation. But, I said this about Sam Darnold. He's kind of the guy I always go back to. It's like Sam Darnold was in some terrible situations with the Jets. But if you watch those games, you could also see that he wasn't the guy. Even though the Panthers talked themselves into thinking he was the guy and traded like a second and third round pick or whatever it was for him. The reality is, when you watch the game, yes, you can still evaluate a player even if they're in a bad situation. If you watch the tape, you can do that. Unless you just look up, box score stats and make your decisions based on that. Typically, you can still evaluate a player even if they're in a tough situation like Jones was. And something like this too, it's like, listen, guys weren't getting open consistently. Guys weren't never getting open either. So this is a 3rd down and 2. This is the next play, right? This very next play, you have tight end Hunter Henry going to be running the route you see on the screen. Okay, again, route that can work, right? There are players covering the middle of the field, but, this route is going to eventually get past that, and so the only player who can cover Henry on this play will be a defensive player who has to it's a tough angle. It's a tough way to run. And watch as when Jones takes the snap, that's the correct route to look at. He throws it in the right direction. He still does that very well. He still knows where to put the football very well. There's a window here. There is. I mean, this is a throw that you want to see get made. It just is. And this throw is too far. And listen, it's always worth mentioning with this stuff. There could be some miscommunication. It's possible Jones thought the tight end was going to run a little bit further deep. For sure. It is. At the same time, you still have to get that taken care of. You've been in the league for 3 years at this point. If you're still having miscommunications with guys that you've played with for a while, that's still at a certain point on you. And to me, I don't think this is a miscommunication. I think this throw just got away from him. That's what I see. So these are really bad. There's other stuff that's very bad. Going over here, this is just an insane play. This is just insane, quite frankly. It's 3rd down and 6. It's going to be man coverage across the board. And the Saints have 2 safeties deep, but one of them is going to come in and cover the middle of the field. The other one stays deep and covers the middle of the field deep. That's how this works. And then 5 one-on-one matchups across the board on 3rd and 6. Jones is going to take the snap. He is going to look up. He steps up in the pocket as pressure comes. Doesn't love what he sees. A little hard to see him right now as he's currently behind some linemen. But I don't know what he's thinking here. Watch him throw it out to basically nobody. I actually almost wonder if he was trying to just throw that football away, maybe. But even if he did, I mean, you could have almost argued that was a grounding type situation. It was not really near anybody. I think it was close enough to a tight end for it to not be considered grounding, but it still wasn't by that much. And I just don't know what obviously the contact affected that throw, but I don't know where he was going anyway. And like, hey, when you have that kind of contact, don't make a throw to someone who isn't open anyway. Take the sack at that point. I mean, this is just a disaster. And at this point, the Patriots offense can't stop giving up touchdowns. The multiple touchdowns given up last week, another one this week. I mean, it's just a mess. And these are types of things that can't happen. The other interception really wasn't his fault. I mean, it goes against his stat line. This is a good throw. We got batted up and intercepted. I'm not going to crush him for that one. Yes, I tweeted out after this play that Mac Jones is now throwing funny interceptions, and once that happens, it's over, which does feel to be a thing. Again, doesn't actually matter. Like, my head says, no, that's stupid, but my heart says, I don't know. It feels like there's something there. That's what my gut says, I guess. Maybe not my heart. My gut says that. But really, no. Like, again, this is not a great play. It was not all Jones's fault. Like, when Zappe comes in, like I said, things did not get better for the New England Patriots. Going over to this play, this is still Jones in at quarterback, zone coverage, cover 2 zone, and this is just kind of the perfect example of why the Patriots don't, really move the ball that well. It's because, I already showed you what happened when things went poorly. But, football's a long game. You have a lot of pass attempts. Plays are going to go well. But one of the biggest issues with just how this Patriots offense is constructed in general is that when things go well, it's not getting 50-yard bombs down the field. It's more often things like this happening, where this is going to be a cover 2 zone. And again, watch what happens. McCorkle is going to take the snap right here. He looks further down the field. Doesn't love what he sees. There is kind of a concept towards the sideline, but it's not, going perfectly well. That could potentially work. And so, okay, Jones, looks over the middle. That's where he wanted to throw the football. That's definitely not open. So he quickly is going to get to a halfback, and they pick up a few yards. I mean, the whole you can't go broke making a profit mindset, right? I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. I think that that's a good play by Jones, actually. But, this is the issue, is that you can say you don't go broke making a profit, but the reality is when they have these plays, you don't gain enough money to make up for the negative plays that happen, right? At the end of the day, you can get away. Josh Allen makes just as many head-scratching throws as Mac Jones. Maybe not just as many this season, but over the course of their careers has made just as many, for sure. The issue is he has those incredible splash plays that more than make up for the occasional, missed throw or the occasional bad decision by Allen. For Jones, I think he'll get better at, I don't think he's going to throw a pick 6 every game, right? If he does continue to keep the job, I don't think that's going to happen. And like I talked about last week, how it's he did make some pretty good plays last week, and he's, made some okay plays in this game, but it's when your pretty good plays are 16-yard completions down the field, your solid plays are getting you, turning a 2nd down and 13 into a 2nd down or a 3rd down and 7. When those are your good plays, it just doesn't make up. You basically have to be perfect. Other than that, you basically can't make mistakes to make, to have success at the NFL level. And so far, it hasn't worked, with the exception of his rookie year, which was the one year they had a good receiving core around him. At the end of the day, a quarterback like Mac Jones is not a terrible quarterback. And, in a Shanahan scheme, in a Miami scheme, something like that, I think he can be an effective player still. But the reality is, Mac Jones can work if you put him in a great situation with receivers who are constantly getting open and let him just be a facilitator. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not someone who's going to be put in a bad situation and just find a way to make it work. That's just not his game, and the Patriots are asking him to do that right now, and it's resulted in an absolute catastrophe. I put up a Twitter poll of who would you rather have, Mac Jones or Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson got more votes. More people would rather have Zach Wilson than Mac Jones at this point. Now, I'm sure that's recency bias, but still, who would have thought that would be the case, just even a month ago? It's crazy stuff. But yeah, those are my thoughts on McCorkle. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.